Hey folks, it's Chris Waters here at the Microsoft Showcase taking a look at Fable 3. I'm with John Eckersley and Ted Timmons from Lionhead Studios. John's going to be driving the demo here, and I'm talking to Ted about a whole new demo from Fable 3, something you didn't see on our stage show today, so stay tuned. Ted, what are we going to see here? Tell us what's going on right now.
Today, this is basically the combat demo. We brought two separate demos to this E3 because we felt that we had a lot to show. So we had the simulation demo, which you've probably already seen, and this is the demo that really shows off Fable 3's combat. So this guy here is Sir Walter. He's voiced by none other than Bernard Hill. So we've got some incredible voice talent in this game. And what John's going to do now is going to show you how our combat system has changed. We felt that at the end of Fable 2, the combat system that worked was the one-button combat. So we've kept that. It's still X for melee, Y for range, and B for will. What we've added are these cinematic moments, the slow motion. As you can see, John is switching between weapons types, incredibly quickly. In Fable 2, it's really slow. You had to get your sword out, put it away, get your gun out, put it away. What John's doing here is just switching between weapon types in one frame. There's no time at all in between them. So what's going on here is John's actually helping Walter to avoid these shadows. Walter is the guy that is kind of like your mentor throughout the game. And what we're trying to craft in this experience, it's all about the feel and emotion. You're helping Walter get through. You can see all the red eyes in the distance. It's all about making you feel slightly on edge. What John just did there was what we call a flourish. Flourishes are back in Fable 3, but with an added bonus. As he does a flourish, the big wings come out. They protrude from the hero's back. Again, there's good and evil versions of that. As you become fully morphed, it starts to change your hero that will change as well the weapon. What we're just going into now is one of the new cinematic experiences that we've created. In Fable 3, we've actually got in professional direction to help us craft these really interactive scenes where it makes you feel like you're a part of the environment, it makes you feel like you're in the game. I combine that with all of the voice talent that we've got, like Simon Pegg, Zoe Wanamaker, John Cleese, Sir Ben Kingsley, Jonathan Ross from the UK. There really is a real feel about cinema here. We're really trying to craft an experience which really draws you into the game. We've got a brand new story, and what's great about the new story is that halfway through you become king. Most games would end at that point. In Fable 3, it's maybe like 15-20 hours in, but that's really just the beginning. You become king, you suddenly have to make new decisions, you have to suddenly start caring about the world, and as you're king, you have to start you made promises as you're playing through the story prior to that point. So you have to start fulfilling these promises. The people will come up to you and say, hey, we believed in you because you said you'd abolish child labour. And child labour is something you see in the game before that point. If you go into a factory in Bowerstone, there are kids working away. So they come up to you and they say, hey, you promised you'd abolish child slavery. They hold up the certificate. And then your advisor kind of turns around and whispers, that's going to cost us big time. We might have to raise the taxes to change that stuff. So really, then you have to make the decision. Do you raise the taxes to kind of get these children out of the factory, or do you just let it go and let it carry on as normal? So this is just, like I say, this is something that happens halfway through the game. It's not the ending, there's a lot more. And what we're trying to show you today is, as you see, so Walter, what's happened to him. We're trying to sort of get you to actually care about this guy. He's someone who follows you throughout the game, really like being your advisor and really helping you with it.
So give us some context here. Sir Walter, at this point, has been built up as a mentor, so how far are we into the story in this demo?
So we're probably about a third of the way through the story. The way the story starts is it's 60 years ahead of Fable 2, the world's going through a kind of industrial revolution, and Sir Walter one day, he says to you, your brother who's the king, you have to get out of this castle. He is a complete tyrant, and this is something that Walter doesn't think that the hero should be a part of. So you escape the castle in the dead of the night, and as you start to play through the game, you start to collect followers, and these followers are the guys that when you say you've got enough followers for the entire town, that's when you start to make the promises. John is damn good at this game now.
I know, now he's slaying a lot of these shadow beasts. We're seeing a lot of sort of electric magic here. We got a couple different type of spells working.
Yeah, in this demo we've just got the lightning spell, but in the retail version we've actually got 6 or 7 different spells. But what's great about the spell system this time around is you can actually combine spells. So what you can do is you can go, right, I really want that fireball and I want it with vortex. So when you cast Fireball Vortex, a big vortex will scoop the people out of the air and it will set them on fire in the air. So it allows that extra layer of customization, because you can have a completely different spell set to me, but we both have an awesome experience at the same time.
And now we're seeing already in this combat demo, there are, as you mentioned, more frequent cutscenes, more frequent cinematic experiences. Is that a persistent thing throughout the whole experience?
Throughout the entire game, there's a lot more cinema. What we've kind of done is we've still got the interactivity in certain scenes, like you will still be able to interact with things during cutscenes, but with the really, really important ones, the ones where we want you to be involved in the story, where we really want to draw you in, like I said, we've got these professional directors to come in and sort of help us craft these really immersive experiences. So John can still charge spells, and what he's doing now, he's actually waiting for the enemies to come, and he'll just do a massive summon spell, or the lightning will fly up out of the ground and take them all down. He's still got this slow motion. As you can see in the slow-mo, he's getting his sword out, striking people. We're really trying to get across this cinema. It's one of our major things that we've changed from Fable 3 to
And that was a smooth transition, right, from casting a massive area spell to a sword attack and then back into a spell.
Yeah, for us, as I mentioned, it's all about speeding the combat up, making it more fluent. You won't see it here, but we've actually added finishing moves elsewhere in the game. My personal favourite finishing move is that if you've got a hammer, for example, you can smash a hob over the head, the hob will bounce up in slow motion, and you hit it for 6. I mean, it's gone, it's out of the park. So, and then if you've got a sword, you might grab the hob and just skewer it. We've kind of, again, it has this extra layer of, I mean, it's great because it's not even complex. It happens as John's actually just playing the game. What we've tried to do is, this weapon that John's got, this sword, it actually morphs as you play the game. So when you start the game, you and I would have the same weapon. At the end, there's an 8,000 to 1 chance that you and I will have completely separate weapons. And what's great about that is if you actually combine that with the hero morphing, so you've got 20 different, around 20 different costumes. On top of that, you've got the good or evil variants. You've got wings, you've got no wings. And then on top of that, you've got the dyes. You can dye, there's 12 different dyes. You can dye your clothes a ton of different colours. And then just to double everything I've just said by having a female and a male variant. This is something that, what's great about Fable 3 is that we're coming here today and we're showing you everything. You know, as you've probably seen from the other demo, we're showing the simulation side, the brand new interface that we think is going to change the way that people develop interfaces in the future. And as you can see, John is just like kicking these guys out. I mean, John actually designed these creatures and he created them himself. Based upon design feedback and his own and what was going on in his own mind at the time. We have the concept artists who draw the concepts, and John makes them happen. And we then have the animators who bring them to life. We have the programmers who give them all of these complex attacks and stuff. But what's great about all of this is all this technical stuff's brilliant, but what really matters is how they feel to the player. I mean, as you can see there, the minions, while people who played Fable 1 might think, oh wow, that's a really good like harking back to Fable 1, they're completely new creatures designed from the ground up, created from Aurora. This is Aurora is actually the place which we've added to Fable. Albion was the continent from Fable 1, Albion was also the continent from Fable 2. Fable 3 still has Albion, but you get shipwrecked on this brand new exciting
And
place.
now we're in Aurora here, in an underground cavern type place.
Yeah, an underground cavern. This guy here is called the Sentinel, again another creature that John's worked on. He's kind of like we introduced him here as like a boss character. But what's great is after you become king, you suddenly start to see more of these creatures. I mean, we're not actually allowed to go into the detail. I mean, that's quite rare for Lionhead, right? You know, not talking about something. But I think that shows just how proud of what we're creating. There's things that we just don't want to talk about. We want things to remain a surprise. Everything that we talk about, we will show. And that is the message that we're getting across with Fable 3 is that, and you can see here, brand new health system. We've got rid of the health bar. It's now shown by saturation of the screen, a nice pretty red outline.
And the penalty seems to be, if you get knocked out, you have the potential to lose followers.
Yeah, because the journey to rule is all about gaining followers. You don't want to fall down. You do not want to become embarrassed. I mean, John, it didn't hurt John too much here because he's in a cave, no one can see. But when this happens in places like in the middle of the day or in Bowerstone, that's going to prove to be a real problem.
So your audience and the location of combat also plays a factor.
It's all going to play a factor in you collecting followers. And what's great about collecting followers, you might have seen it in the simulation demo, is you can do it in any way. You can complete quests for people, save someone's child from a pack of wolves.
Sure.
You can even earn followers by fighting on someone. Some people might like that. You know, they might go, yeah, you know what, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Or
yeah,
you can shake people's hands.
Boat,
yeah, I mean, and that's the stuff that still shows Fable is Fable, but evolved. And what's great about this, what John's about to show here, This is the new hand-holding mechanic.
Seeing another application of this, he's not leading him to, you know, the workhouse. It's not a beggar on the street.
This is your friend.
You're trying to get him out of there.
Help him. And what's great about this sequence is that it proves that although we've added a feature which is fantastic in the simulation, we've also proliferated it through the core story at various sequences, places where it's really important that the player touches and actually interacts.
Well, Ted, thank you so much for taking this look at a whole different side of Fable 3 and a bit of Aurora, the new continent.
It's a pleasure to talk about it, and, you know, real kudos to the guys back home who have just pulled this out, because, you know, Fable 3 is really shaping up to be the best Fable yet. So.
Well, thank you very much. All right, folks. John, thank you as well. Fable 3, folks, coming later this year. Keep an eye out for it. October 26th, you heard it here.
It's in style.